Happy Monday, Inspire Beauty. In the chat, if you are just joining us, I asked you this week to describe one word, drop one word that describes how you feel about 6:45 launching tomorrow. And y'all, come on now. I'm like an ex-elementary school teacher, and my fifth graders could give me the adjective excited. So find another one. There's too many exciteds. Y'all are killing me. I had to like put big red X's over that stuff. Come on now. Ecstatic, pumped, hype. Yes. Hello. Okay. You guys, okay. So 6:45 is launching tomorrow. I'm going to kick off with a couple announcements before I introduce our guest speaker. So 6:45 does launch tomorrow. Maybe our friends on the West Coast will probably be able to get their hands on it tonight. Usually it launches actually in the evening of the night before, but tomorrow morning, I will probably get it right when I wake up. Emerald Project. I want to talk about this really quick though. We just started something called the Emerald Project, and actually we're in our prep mode right now. So we haven't actually started the challenge. It's a 7-day challenge. And I got this idea because I was like, oh my gosh, how cool would this be? We're all going to pretty much be together on Wednesday, 2 Wednesdays from this week, right? Next Wednesday, here at my house. And Wednesdays are the final day of the work week. And on Thursdays, you wake up as your new rank, or with, getting your rank back, maybe if you've dropped rank or things like that. So I thought, how cool would this be if our friends who are coming to Summit weren't Emerald yet and went Emerald literally when we're all together? How cool would that be? And how cool would it be if you're already Emerald and before Summit even happens, you go Emerald again? Hello, now you're halfway to Diamond. Right? Like how cool would that stinking be? And so if you're not in that group with us, I'm pretty sure as I'm looking at all the faces, you're in there. You want your coaches in this group too, though, right? Because it doesn't stop with you. You don't get to Diamond. You don't get to 1-star. You don't get to go further in this business if you're not helping guide people along and having success with their journey too. So you want to make sure that your coaches are in this group too, so that you can help them level up to success as well. So that's it. That's happening. We're in prep mode right now. If you guys haven't, if you're in that group and you haven't printed off, there is a PDF that goes right along with it. It's in the files section. So go peep that and print that off. Speaking of 6:45 though, tomorrow you have an excellent opportunity to go Emerald. Boom, done. Tomorrow morning, right when it launches, right? And I'm going to be helping you with that. I have a special pop-up power hour tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central. So if you cannot make it at 12 p.m. Central, I will record it. And you can do it later on in the day, right? But if you're serious about going Emerald, you literally could go Emerald before, or Emerald again, right? Before our push group even starts, which would be amazing. Because imagine if you went Emerald before it even started during the prep time, and then in the 7 days together, you pushed even harder. And adding 4 coaches during that time? Y'all can do it. We can do it. I'm in it with you. Tomorrow night too, mark your calendars if you've forgotten, or you live under a rock. We have our Summit prep call. That's going to be at 5 p.m. Central, and it'll be anywhere between 30 to an hour, depending on how many questions you guys have, and we get through all the content. So mark your, set your timers and your Alexas for that. There will not be a power hour afterwards because I'm doing the special pop-up power hour earlier in the day. So if you do normally do power hour with us at 6 p.m., you can just press play on the recording. And I got to make sure that I do my June shout outs before we get too far into July. Okay. So it was really cool and really impressive to watch the final moments of June, because there were a lot of coaches that were on the leaderboard, but were not locked in at Success Club yet. That really just made it a non-negotiable in the final few days. And so huge shout out to Kristen for making that happen in the last few days. And Nicolette too, that was really cool in the last few days, seeing that happen. Leia was on the board. Leia, that is her 11th month in a row that she's achieved Success Club. So pretty stinking cool. And Sarah, Gina, Andrea, Chelsea, H, Nicole, M, and Annie, you guys were all on the board last month, changing lives. That's what it's about, right? That's what it's about. And huge shout out, big shout out to our girl, Kristen, you guys, because last month when she achieved Success Club, that was her 12th month in a row. So she's officially a Success Club all-star. Like, give it up, silent cheers for Kristen. That is a big stinking deal. And if you guys read my post in the team page, it is a simple thing to achieve, you guys. To help 3 people at a minimum every month consistently is very simple, but it's not easy, which is why not a lot of people do it. right? Which is why I'm so excited about this accolade that I finally get to shout out for Kristen. Congrats, sis. I'm so proud of you. And we've got Leah right on her tail. One more month, and then we get to silent cheer her. All right, guys, guest speaker tonight, super pumped. My dear friend, Rachel, she's going to talk to us tonight, you guys, all about not feeling enough. And I think this couldn't come at a perfect time because as you start to push for big goals, right? Or as we start to get together at things like Summit, you start to see, oh, I see what that coach did, or I see what that coach did. Sometimes we can start to get in this comparison trap where all of a sudden we feel like, oh, if she did it, then there's not enough room for me. Like success is a pie. And if she takes a piece of that pie out, well, then I can't have any, right? But that's just not how it works, my friends. So I love that that's the topic that we get poured into tonight. She's a 6-star combined coach in her business centers, just means that she creates depth. She's got leaders. She's got other people running with her, and that's amazing. Last year, her team was premier and finished in the top 100. So success leaves clues, right? So you want to lean into this. Excuse me. She's full-time Beachbody after 5 years, and she also was able to leave her full-time job in insurance and billing. She's a mama to 2 wild boys with a 3rd one on the way right now in January. So exciting. She's married to a youth pastor. And also, you guys, if she wasn't busy enough, she homeschools. So there you go. She is a special kind of crazy. I love you. You know what though, you guys, this is what I love the most about Rachel. And this is why I sought out and reached out to her, was because there is a success club, like in the final moments of the month video that she made about a year ago, maybe, that I literally hold dear and I give to you guys very often. At the end of the month, when I'm like, okay, what can I give the team so that they just like push a little bit? I give you Rachel. And so tonight, I'm so excited because I don't have to give her to you on a YouTube recording. You get to hear her live. Rachel, I'm going to mute myself.
That is not a very easy expectation to live up to. First of all, I don't even remember what I said on that video, so I should probably re-listen to it. I know that whatever it is, I'm not rehashing tonight because clearly I don't remember it. Guys, I'm just, here's what's cool about this business is that you see the accolades, and I just see a lifetime in this business, it feels like, of lessons learned. And so while there are a lot of things to celebrate in that, there's 10 times more failures. There's 10 times more missed goals. There's 10 times more struggles. There's 10 times more life experiences that have happened in that period of time. I'm gonna give you like a really tiny snippet of my story. And then tonight I wanna talk about the concept of feeling like you're not good enough to be successful in this business. Has anybody ever felt that? First of all, I love your team. All of your videos are on, and that is so freaking awesome. Bravo. I love that. Our team calls are later at night, and so a lot of my coaches are listening while they're putting kids to bed, so I don't always get to see faces. But love that I see your faces. Okay, so if you rewind 6 years ago, if you've ever had a customer or a discount coach that you look at and you're like, they would be the best coach ever, and they have told you no over and over and you know that they would be so good at it, but they're like, no, I'm not doing this. That was me. I was the girl who was like, on paper, I was not coach material. I was obese. Why would anybody trust me? I had no marketing experience. I had no social media presence. I didn't consistently post on social media, but I fell in love with the challenge groups, and it changed everything. And so my cousin, who is my coach, being that she is my cousin, she gets a little bit more opinion in some things. She drugged me to a Super Saturday, which I'm so pumped for live events to start coming back because it is powerful to have that. She drugged me to a Super Saturday, and I heard somebody like me speak, a normal mom who was just juggling life and wanted big things for her family and unapologetically went after it. And I saw the vision, and I've never looked back in that time. And again, there's a lot of things to be celebrated that we've accomplished as a team, but there's a whole lot of struggle too. And so one of the things that I've learned in the last 5 years is that mindset is truly the make or break in this business. It's not about whether you have the cute figure with the six pack, or you have, the marketing experience, or you're really good at telling your story. There's all of these things that we can list about other coaches that they're like, oh, she's so good at reels and she's getting so many new followers. There's always something that we can look at, and often we realize we don't, without even realizing it, our mindset is sabotaging us before we can even be successful. And so we'll avoid certain activities in our business that make us uncomfortable, like inviting. How many of you have lacked confidence and struggled with inviting at times? Coaching inviting has always been something that has been a bit scary for me, even this far in the business. It's like, oh my gosh, what are they going to say? And you know what? There are people out there whose lives could be changed by this opportunity. And who am I to hold their destiny trapped in my mouth? But we avoid things like power hours, invites, because we create this knee-jerk reaction that says, this isn't going to go anywhere. I don't think I can be successful, so why try? Or I don't think I'm good enough to be successful at this, or I'm not as good as that coach on our team or on another team. And you believe that you are currently on the safest path, and that this outside the box business stretches you too far outside of your comfort zone. So I would love to hear in the chat, where do you guys come to the table with this business? Are you full-time stay-at-home moms? Are you full-time working moms juggling kids and business? Are you part-time? Do you have multiple jobs? What is your story? I'd love to hear what you represent and what this team specifically. So I'll tell you that my team, while I am working full-time in this business, and I probably only have one other coach on my team who really wants to do the same, the majority of my team all have career paths that they have no desire of leaving, but they need financial stability. So this business is here for a different reason than some others, but they're juggling this business with full-time careers and with kids and families and extracurriculars. And, people, the whole world has opened up, and now that COVID's a little bit better and everybody's going bananas, and anybody feel like June was incredibly dead? People were just so not focused on their health and fitness. But the reality is that there's no straight conflict-free path to success as a coach. You can't create this equation of do this and this is going to happen by this time guaranteed. There's too many variables. There's a lot of gray on that path. So sometimes what happens when our mindset is struggling is we swap chasing our dreams for things that feel safe. So let me look at, I want to look at what you guys said. So full-time, lots of full-time working moms. I can relate. Okay. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's super helpful. So I hope that you find this really powerful. So when we think of safe to me means zero risk, right? That 9-to-5 job that a lot of you have right now, we feel safe in that 9-to-5 job. But truthfully, and this has happened to my family in 2019. Truthfully, my husband woke up one morning and the next day he didn't have a job. And that 9-to-5 job that was safe, that was a consistent income, tomorrow, if your company downsizes, you're not truly safe. So that job is only giving you, probably in most scenarios, not all, but probably is only giving you a minimal raise each year. No matter how hard you work, and no matter how much you bust your butt to show your worth to people, your income is probably fixed. So most likely, if you want wiggle room for extras, you really have to budget to make that happen. And so a lot of you are here because you want something different for your family. You want to take your family on vacation and not have to worry about it. You want to not have to use your savings when an emergency, when your air conditioning goes out and you have to replace it. You want flexibility. You want to travel, and you want to not have to use. How many of you have used your paid time off, your PTO, to be with your kids when they are sick? That stinks, doesn't it? Who wants to not have to have somebody tell them that, or stress about having your job covered when your kids are sick? I know I've been in that situation. Before Beachbody, I was working in corporate America, and that was my story too. And so some of you are scared to death that you're not going to get. How many of you have a goal of diamond? Hopefully all of you, diamond and beyond, but diamond's the next step, right? Okay. Some of you are so scared to death. You're so scared that you haven't even put a deadline on you hitting diamond, because then you're not going to fail. So you haven't even put a deadline in there because it feels dangerous. But on the way to your goal, you are guaranteed that you're going to give yourself a pay raise. You're going to give yourself more confidence. And the only dangerous thing about this journey with Beachbody is that currently it feels a bit unknown, right? And so it's like in your head, this is what often happens. And I don't know, how many of you like your comfort zones? They're happy place. I like my comfort zone. It's nice and comfortable, very cozy. But what happens is that your comfort zone, you start to go outside of it and this fire alarm goes off in your head. It becomes all consuming. It's like danger, danger. You're screaming that you are not safe. It's a knee-jerk reaction that you can't even control, that it just happens. And the key is not to try to make that fire alarm go away, because it's never going to go away. And new levels, new devils. Have y'all ever heard that? So new levels of growth, there's going to be new levels of devils. And so it's not about making that fire alarm go away. It's about finding the tools to help you navigate what to do when you are stretching yourself in a season of growth and you start to doubt yourself. Okay. So I have 3 areas. I love the whole, I should have been a teacher. I love the whole three things. So I've got 3 things for you. When you're working to overcome the comfort zone alarm and struggling with the thought of, am I good enough? I want you to leave tonight with this confidence that every person in this business struggles. There's not one coach that I've ever met that doesn't have some kind of mindset block or confidence struggle. We are all the same. We just struggle with different things. Okay. So number 1, the first point when you're thinking about, am I good enough? The truth is the best version of you is going to figure it out. So drop in your chat right now in this moment. What's the hardest thing for you to learn or overcome in your business? What are you struggling with? Maybe you're struggling with storytelling, or don't have enough time to work your business, or you're afraid of inviting. I know some of my coaches feel like they're not charismatic enough. They're like, I don't want to dance on reels. So what are you struggling with right now? Afraid to post reels? Keeping our team alive and staying, I get that. Making connections, mindset, navigating combos to get to the yes, inviting. Thank you for sharing. These are so good. Usually, all of these different things can go into 2 boxes. It's either I don't know if I'm worthy, or I don't know if I'm capable. And so take reels, for example, that falls into the I don't know if I'm capable box, right? And the truth is that none of us actually know if we are good enough to be successful at this business. But I do know one thing, that the worst version of me stands 0 chance of success, of reaching my goals. But the best version of me could probably figure it out. And I know that a lot of us have carried some junk probably. 2020 was a hard year. And I don't know about you, 2021 has not been much better for my family. And so you carrying some of that. But when you think of the best version of you, when I think of that, I think of somebody who is on fire in their fitness journey, who is attracted to people who are like so fired up about their journey. It's contagious, right? That's you becoming your best version of yourself. When you are on fire about personal development and you're reading something that is literally changing your life, you want to talk about it. You want to like be all about it. But when I think about the best version of me, and I honestly, coaching is so cool because, well, so cool and also hard, because all of your worst character traits, everything that you are bad at gets put in your face every single day. If you struggle with consistency in your life, guess what? It's going to be multiplied times 10 in this business. If you struggle with confidence, it's going to be multiplied times 10. But here's what's cool, is that your number 1 job is to become the best version of you in every area. And that version of you stands a freaking chance of reaching their goals, right? So when I think about the best version of me, that version of me is showing up in a way that's making a difference in the world. And that version of me is showing up in my marriage, in my parenting, with a skip in her step. That version of me isn't wrapped up in overwhelm or comparison. That version of me has a sense of peace and purpose. Like if you think about what are your values and what do you consider important in your life, the best version of you is going to level up everything about your life. So when I talk about this business, so often this all trickles over into every area of your life. This business forced me in a way to go to therapy. I started therapy several years ago because I knew that I had some stuff I had to work through, and it has made me a different person. And so I share, it's part of my coaching story now. It's part of what is what my coaches know. I'm going to recommend therapy to them if they're struggling. Love you. You're probably glad I'm not your coach. But anyways, so when I think about that version of me, it brings me joy. But if you lose focus on working on you, if you're in a funk in your health and fitness journey, if you're in a funk in your personal development journey, then you're not in the best version of you. And that growth path is going to take you to your goal of diamond, to your goal of premier, whatever your goals are that you want to reach for your family. So even if you do hit those goals along the way, if you are not truly living your life in the everyday you're trying to be the best version of you, you may hit some of those goals, but it's not going to feel the same as it would if you are truly the best version of you. So some of you signed up. How many of you, when you signed up as a coach, and this is not everybody's story, so it might not be any of you, when you signed up, you thought this business could change my life forever? Did anybody have that thought? I know that I did, because we were in debt. We were in the red every single month. My husband worked at another church, at a church plant, and they couldn't pay him a full salary every single month. So we struggled financially, and there was no way out of it. I couldn't be home with my babies. This business gave me hope. And when you signed up, you were excited and you were ready to conquer the world, and you were excited to go help all of the people. But at some point, that siren, those warning signals, started going off in your head because you were stepping outside your comfort zone. And so maybe you shifted your focus to try and figure out reels instead of realizing that the fire comes from being on fire with your health and fitness journey. The fire comes from being on fire with your personal development journey and your growth journey. And so you stop focusing on the things that actually mattered, and we're focusing on the busy work that matters somewhat. But if your heart isn't aligned, then the rest of that isn't going to feel, it's not going to be as easy if your heart is in the right place. So you need to sit down and have a talk with yourself to mentally prepare. When you're in a season of growth, you know the sirens are coming. But if you're living up to your best self, then you have a better chance of combating those sirens that are going to go off in your head. How many of you have ever had a workout program that intimidated you? Maybe that was Shaun T, Naomi Control Freak, the work. Talk about intimidating. Oh my God. I was scared of 645 because I was like, if it's anything like the work, I'm going to cry. But it's so good. I did the sample today. And how did you overcome that? You had a fitness goal, a fitness desire, and a program that intimidated you. So what did you do? You sat yourself down and you had a pep talk with yourself, and you pressed play anyway. And that is the core of combating those inner doubts. When you sit down to look at your phone in Power Hour, when you start to question if you should send that person an invite, you need to have a pep talk with yourself. Have a 5-minute clip that's on audio. Voice message yourself when you're on fire. You can do that on Facebook. Voice message yourself when you're on fire, and validate everything that you're working towards. And so that you are combating that voice in your head, and it gets easier. The more that you create that habit of belief, the easier it becomes to believe in yourself. So that's number one. Number two, and this is going to be a bit convicting, and that's where I get to be that tough guy. I get to the me that I don't know if Brittany's a tough love kind of coach, but I can be for other people. I'm not as good with my own team. So number two is, are you making good investments? All right. So here's a question for you in the chat. There's probably something that you're trying to figure out or implement in your business that's not truly serving you. Okay. And I want you to drop in the chat, what are those things that aren't truly serving you in this moment? Are you spending too much time figuring out video collages? Are you spending too much time making pretty fancy graphics? Are you trying to create new systems when you've got good systems? What are you spending time on? So I want you to think about those things. And I'm giving you permission to temporarily quit those things. Okay. These are the busy work that really are just serve as a distraction for most of us. And remember, when you're in a season of growth and you're the best version of you, then the content creating and the creative mind comes so much more naturally. But you have to think about the being your best you and moving the needle forward in your business. You can't spend time on these distractions because it's an underlying self-sabotage. Did you realize that? You're trying to find ideas for reels and you spend an hour scrolling Instagram trying to find the right audio when you could have invited 50 people in the last hour. What are we doing? Okay, so these are the investments in your business that are not serving you. These are the busy works. Now, next question. What activities are you doing in your business that actually do move your business forward? Even a tiny step. So what would you consider like actionable steps that are gonna move your business? If you sat down right now, what would you do? So for me, things that I think of are inviting, follow-ups, connecting with clients. There you go. I see it coming in right now. Invites. Yes. Okay. So I want you to think about these are two different areas in your business. And the first set of things, which we will call busy work, those are not results driven activities, right? And those investments are what I would call penny investments. If you got paid per minute doing those things, penny investments. So you spent 60 minutes on reels and you just got 60 cents in your paycheck. Okay. What about the $50 investments? If you send an invite, you have the potential to earn $50 in your business. Does that make sense? So I want you to be honest. If you tracked your time for the entire last week, would your paycheck be pennies or would it be a chunk of cash? And I'm not saying you don't get to a point in this business where you don't have things that you are spending too much time on that are not necessary. You never get to that point unless you're just Melanie Mitro. I don't know. But if you tracked your time for a whole week, what if you crossed off every penny activity and swapped it for the $50 activities instead of spending that hours, inspirational reel hunting? You spent that extra hour following up with people or investing in relationships or connecting or growing your network. And so the number two of getting out of that am I good enough is removing the self-sabotage of busy work and giving your chance to truly be successful by doing the things that move your business forward. Okay. Am I saying that reels aren't important? No. I mean, unfortunately, Instagram is going the route of reels and none of us can control that. Okay. It's just the truth of the matter. But you also have to be a social butterfly on Instagram and you got to connect, which means initiating relationships. And that's just as valuable as putting up a reel that goes viral. Okay. So that's number two. Are you making good investments with your time? Now, number three is, are you controlling the controllable? Okay, by show of hands, who on here has ever had a client that bought a challenge pack and didn't press play? Anybody? Oh my gosh, I can't understand that. It makes me so insane. Okay, how many of you had a client who bought a challenge pack, got 2 weeks in, and then literally the earth opened up and swallowed them, never to be heard from again? Right? It's so ridiculous. You invest all this money. It's crazy. So how many of you have had potential clients string you along? So month after month, next month is my month. I'm going to do it. This month my car broke down, but next month this is it. And then the next month come and oh my goodness, we had a doctor's bill. And then now I'm not discrediting that people go through life struggles and not everybody can afford it. I respect that 100%. But most people just doubt that they can't do this. And so that's where it shows up. And month after month, they don't do it, right? So how many of you have had coaches that have said that they're gonna crush this business? They have all these dreams. They want to retire from corporate America and they want to pay off all their debt and do XYZ, and they don't post on social media. And it's frustrating. Okay, so I want you, if you ever had any of those scenarios, and there's 100 more I could list off, I want you to ask yourself, how many things or people are you trying to control but have zero control over? All right. This is a tough lesson. You are not anyone else's savior here. That is not your role. You cannot pull, push, encourage, motivate, or manifest a goal for anyone but yourself. We are not responsible for other people's free will and their choice to do what they want with their life. If you would have redirected all of that energy spent on people who don't actually want your help or aren't ready to receive your help, what if you had poured that same energy into moving your business forward and showing up as your best self and investing in personal growth? You could have blown the roof off your business by now. So does that mean that you write off people? That's not my heart. I'm an Enneagram 2, and that's the last thing on this freaking planet that I want to do is ever make anybody feel like I don't love them and don't want them. But you have to put some boundaries in place that if someone tells you month after month that they're going to do this and they don't, you can love them from afar, but you got to move on to somebody who wants your time and wants your energy. So Josh Coates has been my business coach for the last year, and he shared this analogy one time where you of our home workouts, but it directly relates to this concept of investing your energy in the people that deserve it. So and give you a scenario. You take your energize. Before pregnancy, it would have been a double scoop of energize. Take your energize. You're ready to go crush Shanti cardio because you got to have double energize to crush Shanti cardio at 5 a.m. And you decide you have a friend who wants your help and who wants to reach their goals. So you show up at their house at 5 a.m. hyped up because you've had 2 doses of energize and you are ready to freaking go. And they are on the couch and don't want to get off the couch. And so you spend the next 40 minutes trying to motivate them. You got this. Come on, we can do hard things. We're going to do this. We're better together. I know you're capable. And you spend all this energy poured into at the end of 40 minutes. Are you ready to go work out? Or are you drained and you're done and you feel tired and you're over it and mentally you're not in a good headspace? It's exhausting to drag people that don't want to be dragged. But what if you took that same energy and you went and crushed your workout on your own and you stepped into this best version of yourself and you became this beacon of light that made people just flock to you because you were so on fire that people were knocking down your door at 5 a.m. ready to blow it up? That is where your energy should go. Pour it into the people that deserve it, that are showing up alongside you, and then spend all that extra energy on yourself. Can you imagine if you were stepping into that best version of yourself and that beacon, you just were an action dominator? And if there's this one quote that I've heard, if you help the people who want your help, you can spend the rest of your life helping the people who need your help. And that's by John Maxwell. So that was my third point. So number 1 was the best version of you, going to figure it out. Number 2 was what kind of investments are you making in your business? And then number 3 is, are you controlling the controllable or spending your energy in places that aren't helping you? So as we wrap this up, I want you to take some time to reflect. I like to give action steps at the end of calls because I feel like that's really helpful. But I want you to reflect and be honest with yourself. Are you showing up as your best right now in your business? And honestly, so I'll get really transparent here. I'm going through the hardest season of my life that I've ever been through. And month of June was the worst month of my whole life. And it was really hard to show up through tough seasons. So if you're going through a tough season, I get how difficult that can be. But when I spent the month of June filling my cup. I went back to therapy. I prioritized my well-being, rest to keep this baby safe. But I still showed up through that hard season. So I know that if you're going through something hard, you can take pieces of this call and still relate it to your chapter in your season, I promise. But number 1, are you showing up as your best version of you? Number 2 is, are you making those right investments and are you controlling the controllable? And if the answer is no to any of those areas, we get to course correct. The neat thing is that none of these things define us. If you have spent the last couple of months kind of in a fitness funk, you get to turn that around tomorrow with 645. You get to change that story. If you have spent the last few months investing your time and spinning your wheels in your business with the wrong things, you get to change that tomorrow. You get to rewrite that story. There's another analogy. This is not on what I was going to share, but so we are all the author of this pen that you're writing your story with. Okay. And on one hand, you hold the pen, you're dreaming, you're writing down your vision, you are writing down your goals for your life, and you are in control. But what happens in a lot of people's life is fear and doubt and comparison and mindset struggles. And I'm not good enough. That becomes the author of your pen instead of you controlling your story. And I want you to be the owner of this pen. I want you to be in control of how your story goes from this point forward, because I know Brittany wanted me to talk about Success Club and all those things. Guess what? Success Club is really freaking easy when you're rocking your life. People are attracted to that energy. You know what? People are attracted when you're blowing up your business and taking so much action because your investments and your time is so good, your business is going to thrive. So you have to take hold of this pen and not allow any of those mindset struggles to be in control. So here is your action step. So I want you to uncover that you truly are enough. There is not one thing different from you or me or Brittany and y'all or the top coach in the network and me, except for time and consistency and work. That's it. We're all the same, but we can all achieve the same things. We just have to show up long enough, consistent enough, and with enough belief to make it happen. So this action step that I have for you is twofold, okay? It includes getting on your stories and doing a live video. I don't know if any of you hate talking, but I don't care. I love you. Video is part of what we do, and people connect through video. So when we get off this call, I want you, hopefully you're feeling a bit fired up, ready to go conquer the world. I want you to get on this call on your Instagram stories and video 3 things that you love about this team and tag your coach in it, okay? And I want you to talk about what these calls mean to you. Don't tag me. I want people to come to my page. That's not what this is about, okay? I want your people to stay with you. So I want you to tag your coach, tag the other people on this team so that you guys can share it to the world that this is an incredible team that you get to be a part of, and talk about how you're going to change your mindset and what about this call impacted you. So that's your first step, okay? Number 2 is I want you to write out the top 3 things that are penny investments, and then what are you swapping those with? So if you're spending too much time on Reels, if you're spending too much time on graphics, if you're spending too much time researching algorithms, I don't know what you're spending your time on, but what are your penny investments and what are you going to swap those with so that you can truly start moving your business forward at a rapid pace? There has never been a better time to be a Beachbody coach. I am telling you, it doesn't matter. The off seasons in between launch are doo-doo, but on launch month, it is exciting. There is energy. I called my whole team out for whining and complaining about a 45-minute workout. And I'll call all you guys out too. We are capable of hard things. Growth happens through hard things. Okay. And you are capable of those hard things. So own up to whatever mess that you've created. Be grateful for the success that you've seen and the things you can do, but own up to your mess and decide that you're going to step into the best version of you, because that version of you is going to figure this business out and going to prove to yourself that you are good enough to hit diamond and star diamond and beyond and take care of your family financially. So I hope that encourages you. You can accomplish those dreams, but those are my 3 things. And Brittany, I can do Q&A or whatever you want. Hopefully this was helpful.
Yes, it was so good. Oh my gosh, Rachel, I feel like I could just do like a sleep story with you or something and just put you in my little ears at night. I love it. So good. So stinking good. You guys, I love this analogy of the fire alarm. And I had this giant epiphany as she's talking about this fire alarm, because when we leave Summit, we will be on fire. When you leave Summit, you will be on fire. I've seen it this is now my 8th Summit of my Beachbody career. I mean, I've seen enough summits to see that, including myself, my own journey, that you leave on fire. But I love that you talked about the fire alarm, because when you leave on fire, what's going to happen next? The alarm's going to go off, right? The alarm's inevitably going to go off. And so then the next step is, what do you do when that alarm goes off? And I really hope that you press play on the recording of this again when that happens. Whenever those moments happen, I hope Rachel pops in your mind like, oh, wait a second, I have a
I'll be the
solution.
other birdie on your shoulder.
Yeah, right? Like, I hope you realize that you have a choice when that moment happens, when that fire alarm goes off. Just like she said, you have a choice to say, okay, fear's driving the car, fear's writing the story, and let me pivot and find better strategies, better solutions. Let me take ownership. And I think that's a big bridge that we're crossing in the year 2021 as a team, Rachel, is that our team is starting to take ownership of our own businesses. And I love seeing that happen. So thank you.
Well,
You guys,
can I add to that? So
yes.
you guys listen to this call, and you probably, and I don't know what you think about where I get all this information. I've done a lot of personal growth in the last few years, but up until the beginning of 2019, our team was very stuck. We hit 2-star and it was like moving through freaking concrete. Like we were going nowhere. And I had a lot of limiting beliefs about what I was capable of as a leader. So like, new levels, new devils. I'm not good enough leader. I can't help people be successful. And in 2019, I was like, bump that crap. Like, what happens if I actually decide that I'm a good leader and that I'm willing? And so in 2019, I made that decision, and I started pouring all of my energy into that, rewriting that fire alarm enough to where I could still take action in spite of the fire alarm. And in 2019, that's when that was actually the year we hit Premier. That was the year that we went 5-star in one business center and 1-star in the next. We were top 100, and I busted my butt over mindset, because I was like, if I don't decide that I can be different, then how's my team ever going to decide that they can be different? So if you're feeling like you're like stuck at your current stage in business, you start working on these mindset things, and you're going to see some powerful shifts happen. I can promise you.
Oh, I love that, you guys. I hope you heard that. She didn't, I mean, I'm certain that other income producing activities leveled up as well, but she poured into the mindset, and then everything else started to trickle in. What is your number one PD book, or what are some recommendations when you were working through your mindset struggles, especially in that season? What were you like putting in your ears all the time?
What I'm loving, so it's changed in every season. My needs are different. And I think that's really important with personal development, that you're aligning your PD with your personal needs. So if you really struggle with time management, you're doing books on time management. If you're really struggling with comparison, then Master Your Mean Girl is one of my favorites to recommend to coaches. But one that I'm loving right now is Make Over Your Mindset. It is a faith-based book, but it's all about combining how scientifically your brain is hardwired to sabotage you. It's terrible. And then how do you fix that? So that's what I'm listening to right now and loving. I'm going to be honest, therapy was one of the main game changers. But Mastering Your Mean Girl is one of them. Built to Last is also a good one, but it's really about finding what works for you. So, You Are a Badass. Some of those are just kind of generic stuff, but for me, I also hired a business coach, and sometimes you got to invest in your business to see the payoff in your business. And so that was also a really, really good investment for me as well.
Awesome. Leah asked, what are your tips for changing your mindset before you see she says monetary results, but I mean, really, what is it? Mindset before results? How do you trick your brain into believing you haven't physically seen it?
Well, and I think it can be very hard. I don't know, Leah, what stage of your business or how long you've been a coach, what that story is. But for me, I had to believe that if someone else could do it, that I could too. And that was what I stayed rooted in. And it's very hard as new coaches. Honestly, that first year is, you got to stick through it, because there is like so much that you're going to have to work through. And every Success Club point feels like an uphill battle. It feels like you get more rejection than you ever thought possible in your life. And so for me, a solid morning routine was always very important for setting myself up for a good day. I have a bunch of crazy kids, and if I don't do that, I just want to kill everybody. So it's helpful for everyone. But a solid morning routine that has gratitude, has affirmations. And guys, the 2018 version of Rachel thought all of this was a crock of you know what. And so I'm a testimony that if you do actually implement those things into your routine, it is powerful. So gratitude, affirmations, and not affirmations centered around goals, like not saying I'm a 10-star diamond coach. It's saying, because I am efficient in my business time, I have faith that God's going to bless this. You know, your affirmations need to be aligned with more so your values and your qualities, not just your vision for your goals. So morning routine is huge. And then doing the activities early in the day before your mindset talks you out of them. I always tell my team, if you don't get your power hour in before lunchtime, you're not going to do it. Because truthfully, most of them aren't going to do it if they don't get it in before lunchtime, either on their lunch break. My team is early birds by force, not by choice. But if you don't get your inviting and your follow-ups in before lunch, then your mindset's going to start to make you wiggle and start to doubt yourself. I know that's not really like actionable tip, but you know, you really have to get that done early. And the more you do take action when belief is still on the fence, that belief will grow. Hopefully that helped.
That's so good. Yeah. I mean, for real, if someone somewhere has done it, why not you, right? It's possible. So I love that you're clinging to the coattails of the people ahead of you in that way, right? Tiff wants to know how you balance all of your time being so busy and all the hats you wear. How do you do it?
Oh, it's a shit show. I'm just gonna be honest. I wish that I was like, and so this is the neat thing. You can be successful and not have it all together. I am not a Melanie Mitro color coded schedule. Honestly, that stresses me out. You give me a schedule and I want to punch you in the face. But so to say that, I say power hours have to be done before 12, because if I don't do it, it's just not, I don't, at the end of the day, I don't want to pour into anybody else's cup. I don't want to reach out and respond. Like, I can reply to messages, but the thought of having to figure out who to invite and who to follow up with at the end of the day, when my kids have thrown tantrums and somebody put somebody in the chokehold and everybody's crying, it's not going to happen. I have boys. I don't know if any of you guys have boys, but it is a constant circus here. We're homeschooling for the first time in the fall. So I'm going to have to, through becoming my best version of me, get better about a schedule, because kids thrive on routine. But honestly, getting everything I have to do done at the beginning of the day is powerful. I also ask for help. I realize that that's different for everybody, and not everybody's spouses are supportive, but anytime that you can advocate for your business and do so explaining why you need help, and so like telling your husband, hey babe, I have a call tonight and I need to be focused, and this is what I'm working towards this month, and then being able to tell him that you hit that goal is really powerful. So my husband has always been supportive, but have been very vocal about getting a babysitter if I have a big like launch month when things are crazy and I have a lot of extra on my plate. I'll ask for help in that way, but I pretty much do it all by myself. I only just got an assistant a few months ago, and she does like the bare minimum. It's just like recognition stuff. So it's pretty much all me. So for me, it's getting everything done before noon, because I don't want to talk to people at the end of the day. That means getting up early and losing sleep. Yay.
Oh my gosh. And this is, you guys, this is coming from a pregnant woman with two children already. Like saying losing sleep. Like,
I literally
have
saltines right here beside me in case I feel like I'm gonna throw up on this call.
Bless it. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. I love this idea though that you keep coming back to this, because our team has been thriving this year with Win the AM. We have opened a Zoom room up, and everyone, like, I mean, y'all have been crushing it with winning the AM, with our foundation, with our self-care, with our mindset, with our soul set, right? Like, we've done a great job of pouring into our cups before, we get in the shower for the day. But I bet this strategy of getting the invites out before you get off Win the AM, right?
Or even just the first 30 minutes of your power hour, your invites and your follow-ups, because you can add to your network and you can connect mindlessly while you're sitting beside your kids watching TV at the end of the day. But you cannot concentrate on an invite when you've got 15 kids running around you. So if you can get your invites and your follow-ups done before 12, it's setting you up for just so much more peace of mind. It's not weighing over you.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. And I'm seeing people already like challenging each other for this for sure. So Rachel, thank
Yeah.
you so much.
You're